Here to share with us solutions that ensure operational efficiency in the public sector as well as key trends that can be applied in this particular sector, please welcome on the screen Vice President and Head of Enterprise Digital Solutions, Mr. John Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of PLDT Enterprise, it is my pleasure to join you all online to talk about e-government by taking a look at practical digital solutions offered to government agencies and local government units today. PLDT, as a telco and ICT provider, have always been an active participant, advocate, and contributor to government initiatives in the development and implementation of core digital projects. With the COVID-19 pandemic severely impacting and disrupting how traditional public services are being delivered, the need for digital transformation is now more important than ever. Based on an article from Deloitte, the potential impact of this crisis includes increased demand for services with rising citizen expectations around delivery of virtual services and continued move towards digital to enable government services of the future. Workforce planning and the need to test the resilience of working virtually to provide longer-term potential for reshaping the government workforce. And lastly, disrupted sectors looking to government to provide adaptive and dynamic regulatory models that shall provide longer-term opportunity to reinvent the future of regulation. With the innovative technology that helps government agencies across health, education, public welfare services, critical infrastructure, public safety and justice, tax, finance, and revenue, digital services enhances how government agencies serves institutions, businesses, people, and communities. It is also an opportune time to accelerate the government's mandate signed into law under RA 11032, or Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, to connect government to business, and government to citizens. These past several months alone, PLDT has worked with and continued to engage government agencies on how these services can be delivered more effectively. We have successfully deployed solutions to support critical services like e-government applications and kiosks, online payment gateways, citizen ID and community applications, command center solutions, contact center systems, CCTV surveillance solutions, traffic management, temperature sensors, smart Wi-Fi on certain public centers, work from home solutions, emergency 911 dispatch systems, as well as cybersecurity and data privacy services. These are digital platforms and tools that provides access to pertinent government services and enable emergency contact and response. This allows for collaboration, operational efficiency, service availability, and security. For e-government services, our affiliate, Multisys, has developed applications and automated services like real property tax, business permit and licensing systems, public market information systems, motorized tricycle operation systems, civil registry systems, and senior citizen management systems. These systems can be accessed using digital devices anytime, anywhere, with hotline, email, and chat support systems that support their constituents. Required payment for certain services can also be achieved using online payment gateways, kiosks, or accredited payment centers. Solution that is widely used is the Citizen ID and Community app. Powered by PayMaya, constituents are given a citizen ID that serves as identification and empower individuals to engage in community affairs, provide feedback, participate in surveys, report emergencies, download and submit forms, and also pay services online. The Citizen ID and Community app also serves as a disbursement facility for allowances, payroll, and also financial assistance for their constituents. PLDT has been active in building LGU command centers. These command centers are mainly focused on infrastructure monitoring, traffic management, and emergency and response dispatch. These command centers are connected to various agencies like fire, health, and police departments to ensure rapid response to requests coming through the emergency 911 contact center system. First responders are also enabled with a smart SOS dispatch mobile service so that relevant information are provided and sent in real time for immediate deployment. Lastly, with the advent of 5G and IoT, local government units can expect more innovative solutions that can be deployed to better serve its constituents. At its very core, 5G and IoT brings together the physical, the digital, and biological worlds through connectivity, data, automation, and humanized interfaces. 5G and IoT are essential elements in building smart cities. Smart cities that enhance accessibility to government services and opportunity to make the Filipino lives even better. Our recent launch of 5G helps potential opportunities for a better future. The International Telecommunications Union defines three use cases scenario for 5G systems. It enhances mobile broadband to better accommodate increased data usage, massive machine-to-machine type of communications, which allows more devices to be connected with less power at lower rates, and ultra-reliable and low-latency communications that will further both safely support both safely critical and mission-critical applications. The major outcome of a smart city implementation is to make cities, communities, and delivery of vital services become more business friendly, people centered, and environmentally livable. Smart cities are made up of hyper connected elements that can monitor thousands of IoT sensors, monitoring weather conditions, traffic behavior, flood detection, crime prevention, energy management, waste management, and amongst others, all sending data at the same time. 5G will be needed for future scale, performance, and reliability needs. Once 5G is fully implemented, all these individual use cases will come together and transform the Philippines into a smart and connected nation. That is where the true power of 5G and IoT lies. It isn't just about speed, it's a capability to expand accessibility and opportunity for the majority. For smart city residents, it should translate to a better standard of living and an improved sector experience of public service. And digital technology can make this a reality. At PLDT, EPLDT, and SMART, our strategy is simple: to serve the needs of the Filipino people. First, we've begun laying down infrastructure needed to bring connectivity to our end users. We will continue to increase and leverage on our most expansive fiber optic network, today at a staggering 200,000 plus kilometers, and fortify our partnerships with global technology leaders to be able to strengthen our 5G, IoT, and LTE rollouts. Technology and enablement side, we have built 10 data centers, a local Azure cloud instance, a cybersecurity and analytics practice, and connectivity management to serve the compute, data storage, management of devices to power smart homes, smart cities, smart factories, smart buildings, and more importantly, smart government services. To summarize, PLDT helps reimagine, redefine, and redesign the ways of working, serving, and engaging communities. We are here to enable government services of the future and help enrich the lives of the Filipino people. Now, let's watch as one of our country's most respected leaders endeavored to make smart cities a reality for his constituents.
The missions and visions of the city, of course, Vice Mayor po ako. I'm always in support of the vision and mission of our mayor. Kami naman po ang legislative or lawmaking body, which yung mga policies po ng ating mayor, we legislate to make it into laws at ito po yung ma-implement po niya. However, because of what has happened this year, itong pandemic na COVID-19, medyo lahat po ng mga, o halos lahat po ng naiplano namin for the year 2020 naantala. And of course, yung products ng PLDT has been a big help dahil dito sa ating how we connect with people. Marami kasi mga meeting dyan na face-to-face, hindi na namin pwedeng gawin kasi nagkakaroon ng mass gathering. So what we do it electronically, not anymore face-to-face. And then of course, the challenge there is it's quite a new technology for all of us. Madali yung face-to-face, but however, nasanay ka rin na meron ka parating hawak na dokumento. It is also quite a challenge. Hindi mo hawak yung dokumento electronically, nagagawan din po namin ng paraan yan. Of course, using all those messaging system na nagpapasa kami ng documents with each other. In the City Council, when we meet, we decide on resolutions and ordinances that has helped this administration in coping up with COVID-19. Ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, marami ng mga no-contact policy. So what I learned from other department heads that are income generating in the city, ang gagawin po natin dyan, yung mga no-contact na, using electronic means also, paying whatever for the permits, paying their taxes electronically. Nag-aaralan din ng city government yan. And also sa health department po natin, they're also looking for ways and means to improve ang ating data gathering and ating mga contact tracing. What pandemic has shown us is that the way of the future right now is really electronically and digitally. Makikita naman po talaga natin how you pay transactions right now. In order kami, may babayaran kami, we use those electronic means of payment. Not only way of paying, the way of getting the correct and right information. So as long as the city government has the right social media platform, they can always give the correct and accurate information to our constituents. Sa PLDT, thank you very much for showing the way and making the world smaller for everybody. Mga features na binigay nyo, yung products na inalok nyo sa ating constituents, o for the Filipinos per se, ay malaking bagay not only in this pandemic but how we communicate with everybody. And then dito po sa trabaho rin, it had made things easier. If this technology is not available today, napakahirap po para sa amin na gumawa ng desisyon, ng mabilis na desisyon para sa ating mga constituents. Thank you very much, PRDT.
Thank you so much to our distinguished speakers for sharing your plans in building smarter and more connected cities. Now, our next speaker is the Deputy Secretary Level Officer from the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Over his extensive career, Mr. Robinson has developed and expanded Australia's relationships with a broad range of countries with a particular focus on the Southeast Asian region. He has served in Australia's embassies in Jakarta, Yangon, and Bangkok, and has held a range of senior positions in Canberra across operational and corporate areas. In 2009, Mr. Robinson was made an Officer of the Order of Australia for service to Australia's international interests through a significant and sustained contribution. Hello, Ambassador, and welcome to the stream.
Hello, Danny, and lovely to see you. Thanks very much for that very fine introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Australian Government, it's a really great pleasure to join you for this segment on e-government and to share some of Australia's experiences. First, I'd really like to congratulate PLDT Enterprises for organising this virtual Tech Talk forum, especially at the moment, living with COVID-19. We're all coping with restrictions, with isolation, and coming to terms with new ways of working. Coming together to share information and knowledge in this type of virtual forum is a really welcome development, and it enables us to continue to engage across all sectors. We just can't allow ourselves to be paralysed by the current crisis, but rather we must look for better, more innovative approaches to respond, to recover, and to build resilience. Governments, of course, are responsible for delivering a wide range of services that support businesses and the broader community. The Australian government recognises and promotes excellence and innovation in service delivery. The integration of information and communication technology is a cornerstone of our e-government platforms. And Australia fares really well on the world stage. The most recent United Nations e-Government Development Index ranks Australia 4th in the world, but we'd like to do much better than that. So in November 2018, the Australian Government Digital Transformation Agency released a digital transformation strategy for government to help us become one of the top digital governments in the world, even higher than 4th. The strategy sets out 3 priorities that put people and businesses at the very centre of government. First, we want a government that's easier to deal with, that's accessible 24/7. Second, we want a government that's informed by its citizens, that share information with it. Thirdly, we want a government that's fit for the digital age, and that means now. The Australian government created a framework and a set of tools to help online designers and developers build government products and services more easily. The system incorporates digital service standards to achieve the highest usability and, importantly, accessibility for all in order to deliver a consistent user experience. In this digital world, citizens expect digital services from government that keep pace with technology and match the customer experiences and the services offered by industry. Emerging technologies, data and analytics, and artificial intelligence present significant opportunities for governments all around the world. And that is why, through our development program, we're also working here to support the Philippine government's digitalisation agenda. Of course, there are significant challenges in the Philippines with infrastructure, much needed work to be done on regulatory frameworks, and to ensure cybersecurity, which is a major concern for all of us. But by harnessing the opportunities of digital technology within a robust framework, the Australian government's e-experience demonstrates that government can indeed deliver better outcomes for the public and to do so more efficiently and effectively. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, for that inspiring message. And we really hope that the Philippines can emulate the Australian example, and hoping for you guys, or rooting for you guys to be in the top 3. You guys are in top 4. That's really good already. Now, just a quick question. When you talk about the Philippines, you've already pointed out some considerations here: infrastructure, cybersecurity, regulation being the most important. But tell us, given our situation right now, we are an archipelago. We have had difficulties also in upskilling and in having the same path that you have. You can see this in other sectors that we've already featured earlier in the talk, like e-banking, for example. What are the most important considerations here when we talk about e-government services in particular?
So I think it's the commitment to invest in the capability and to really develop new and innovative solutions to the problem. If government doesn't invest and keep pace with the technology, and given what's happened over the last 5 months, you've seen just how fast the world's turned to digital platforms. If government doesn't invest in a major capability across government, then I think there's real issues that will befall the government. So I think it needs to have a real capability enhancement that lifts the capability of the government systems so that it's right across government. Because when I look at what Australia's done, it's developed systems across all departments and agencies, on one platform, trying to get all the agencies working on one digital platform that enables government to provide services to the Australian public and gives them confidence that they can have easier access and indeed trust the system on which they're operating.
Okay, so much more a broader, unified framework needs to be done, and also dedication to fund this sort of approach. Ambassador, just to nuance this a bit and give more beef, let's say, on the Australian example. For sure, this has been in the works for decades already, this strategy in terms of e-government in Australia. But how have the daily lives really changed?
So I think for Australians, their lives have been turned upside down by the digital platforms that now are on offer. And essentially, we've got millions of Australians who can now securely access a range of government services online every day, 24/7. And this really impacts me too, because I use them as well. Sitting up here in Manila, I reach into our government to do a whole range of things. For example, we've got a digital identity system which verifies and authenticates users and increases security, privacy, and enables data exchange. We've got a thing called MyGov, which provides me, sitting here in Manila, with access to 11 government services with one single log-on. We've got a thing called MyTax, which enables me to do my tax return and to lodge it online instantaneously. We've also got a system called My Health Record, which enables citizens to securely share their key health information about medical conditions, about treatments, and about medicines, and share that with their healthcare providers. So that's really significant. Another example in the healthcare sphere, which is highly relevant given what's happening now in the Philippines, is that more than 97% of health and aged care insurance claims are submitted digitally. And that equates to about 610 million payment transactions a year, which equals over 50 billion Australian dollars going between businesses and government each year. So it's quite extraordinary.
Ambassador, you seem so well prepared already for anything. And can you say that this COVID-19 pandemic has been unprecedented, and anywhere in the world, whether you're in the Philippines or Australia, everyone has been caught off guard. But can you say that it has changed in any way, the ways in which e-government is operating in Australia? Or can you say that it's been completely prepared for something like this to happen? Are there any different innovations or disruptions that are now going on?
Danny, I wish I could say that the government was completely prepared, but this was such an extraordinary circumstance that I don't think any government was prepared for this sort of pandemic. So where we are now is everybody scrambling to do more in a shorter space of time. And even in Australia, where we had our digital strategy that reached out to 2025, now that's all got to be accelerated. Because what's happened in the last 6 months is that people's expectations of the digital services that they can receive, and you've only seen that with people buying things online, those expectations have increased enormously. And so that's what I was saying before, that government needs to match private industry in terms of what private industry has delivered over the last 5 months. And so if government doesn't keep pace, there'll be enormous dissatisfaction with the population. So the onus is now on government to do more and to do it faster, because we've changed forever. And what I was saying before is digitalisation is now. It's not in 5 years. We need it now.
Okay, so even with all of these systems in place, there's still an accelerated need for more efforts there all over the globe.
I think
Ambassador, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I think that's right, Danny. So even in Australia, we're trying to get all of our departments and agencies linked into one major system on one platform that's even more effective than what we've got now. Because I think, as everyone started to digitalise, we've done it, all countries pretty much, in a bit of a piecemeal fashion. And what we're now trying to do is to bring it together effectively and efficiently, but to give people confidence that when the government has their information and exchanges details with them, they have confidence that that system is secure. And that's where the cyber security part of the equation also comes into the development of digitalisation platforms.
Ambassador, you of course are here in the Philippines. How involved are you in the Philippine government's digitalization agenda? What is the low-hanging fruit here? What are your immediate plans to assist, especially in this period?
So we've been involved in the Philippines now since 2008, in particular with DepEd, and so we've been doing lots in terms of the unified information system that DepEd has, and that's been really, really good. So we've been working effectively with DepEd for many years. We've also been working to improve teachers' ICT skills, and of course that's been very, very valuable too. We've got a program here called Coalitions for Change, and that works with the Asia Foundation, and we've supported the passage of the free internet access in public places for a whole range of different municipalities and areas around the country. And that covers government offices, it covers schools, government hospitals and the like, transportation terminals as well. So it's been lovely to see that. And of course, we've now helped get free Wi-Fi out to 4,600 different locations around the country. We're also working here with the United Nations and the World Bank to be able to help them deliver global standard ICT technologies and technical assistance to the Philippines government. I've also engaged with the Department of ICT, and we're looking at how do we protect systems through cybersecurity issues as well. And also in the disaster relief area, we've been working with the Office of Civil Defence for many years now to improve their capability. So all in all, it's quite a comprehensive program of engagement, also including the Department of Social Welfare and Development, I should add too. So I'm really pleased with where we're positioned to help the Philippines based upon Australia's experience.
Well, we're definitely hoping to reap some of the benefits of these projects. And at this point, Ambassador, I'd like to invite back on our stream Mr. John Gonzalez to join us in our conversation. Hi, John. Welcome back. I just wanted to jump off on Ambassador's keynote earlier on, where he said that a focus needs to be done on not just smaller projects here, but a unified strategy for e-government, right? So a very broad-based strategy where one login can access so many different services. Sir, is this something that is feasible here in the Philippines, given that a lot of LGUs operate independently?
Most definitely, Danny. But first of all, I'd like to thank again our ambassador for the insights that you have shared with us. It is truly amazing, and the achievements that you've done are something that a lot of countries would like to emulate and also aspire for, including the Philippines. Now, some of the insights that our ambassador shared was basically, one is providing access to government service 24/7, any time of the week, right? And then providing a feedback mechanism so that sentiments of the population or the citizenry can be can be sent to the government for them to be able to consider what it is that they need to provide their citizens with, right? And then lastly, providing a single portal for all of the government services. And my answer to that really is yes. Those are the things that we ourselves want to aspire for. Now, while we do work with a lot of the major government agencies like DOH, DepEd, and most especially DICT, a lot of these services are distributed down the line to the local government units. And not only do we work with the major agencies, but we also definitely need to create those kinds of systems for the local government to distribute those services and then provide those services to the population at hand. So one good thing about digital transformation or the technology that we have today, it's all actually available. Whatever it is being implemented globally is also something that is or that can be implemented locally. And partners like PLDT have been actually doing that in several cases with some of the local governments and the major agencies here in the Philippines.
Sir John, can you also, for our viewers, but also just for a dialogue with Ambassador, Smart and PLDT have started with these so-called smart cities, putting 5G in targeted areas. You started in Clark and central business districts and the biggest universities. What is your strategy here? How is it linked to the government's strategy when it comes to e-government? Is that tied in any way? And then later on, I want to ask Ambassador's opinion on is this sort of strategy localized and then bringing in the bigger nation strategy the way to go?
Well, there's actually an influx of new solutions coming in that are sensor-based or what we call IoT-based that basically helps, manage transportation, monitor waste management, look into the traffic situation and flood detection, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of those will require a lot of sensors. Now, the value of 5G is being able to provide that ability to aggregate all of those data and consolidate it, and then do make sense out of it, and then provide better value in service to our citizens today.
Ambassador, can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's nailed it, because what we're seeking to do is, I suppose, is every country's got to devise a system that meets its own particular needs. And if it means that you start with particular localities or you start with particular departments, but then you can link all of those together to make the whole, then that makes it all possible. Because I know the size of the Philippines, it's such an extraordinary enterprise. In Australia, we've got a population of 26, 27 million. The population here of the Philippines coming up to 110 million. My goodness, the scale is just so enormous. So therefore, each country develops its own approach, as long as the ultimate objective is to bring it all together as one and provide services that meet the needs of both citizens individually, but also businesses, and that they've got the confidence in the systems they use. I think that's vital.
Sir John, Ambassador gave some specific examples of the tools that they have over in Australia, from everything from 24/7 healthcare to checking any portal at any time of the day. What do we already have? What are some use cases that your team has already been doing, or that we can at least anticipate in the near future?
Well, again, what's available right now and what we have implemented in recent memories, basically a lot of things with regards to traffic management, a lot of things in terms of creating command centers for crime prevention. That means we're putting in a lot of smart cameras all over the place to be able to determine any incidents that may need immediate actions today. We've created actually systems that creates ease of doing business between the population and then also with the government. That means being able to digitally pay your taxes, request for permits and a lot of those things. But it's an evolving process, and that's why it's very important for us to look into the promise of smart cities, because there's really a lot. I've seen actually solutions today that even look into waste bins. When the waste bin is full, automatically it triggers an alert in the command center for the municipal hall or the city hall to really pick up the waste basket already and bring it to somewhere else. So there are a lot of use cases that we can use. There are already use cases that have been implemented and are available today. But there's plenty more that is out there that we can actually use, especially in a country wherein we do have a lot of natural disasters. So climate change, monitoring weather conditions, doing flood detections, are just many samples of the things that we can look out for when we do smart city implementations.
Sir John, just before I let you gentlemen go, just a very quick question on the packages of PLDT. It's not necessarily a standardized package, that you can see, because you're going to have very, very different problems for different local government units. How can you manage such a broad range of services and tools that are needed? Ambassador had pointed out we need some level of streamlining here, but at the same time, as a service provider, you need to be able to target specific pain points.
Like any other technology, the purpose of technology really is to address a problem, right? Or a business situation. In this case, while we do have a ton of solutions available, it is important that we have that conversation with the local city government or the major agencies and determine what is it that they exactly would need to address. What are their priorities? So a priority for one city may differ from another. Like a city might have a lot of issue with regards to criminality, but then again, there's another city who has an issue with regards to doing, having an environment to do easier doing business, right? And then another city that has an issue with environment. So we need to have those conversations, and from those conversations, we would be able to identify which specific solution can really address those pressing needs or problems. So it really depends. Again, it's important that the local government understands really the need, and finds ways to be able to address and solve those problems.
And these needs are, of course, accelerated during this period, and we do need the mentorship of countries like Australia with already best case scenarios. Thank you so much. Of course, that was Ambassador Stephen Robinson and Mr. John Gonzalez for your insights today.